Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we're actually taking at a premium ship that I never actually looked at or even talked about or even played. I think this was actually my second time playing it. You can tell that because I completely forgot to get premium consumables. So we're playing the Duke of York, the sister ship of the KGV, and I actually didn't mind the KGV that much when I played her. I didn't think she was that bad, and the Duke of York plays very similar. I think the only more major difference, and I remember when the KGV was being introduced, that she wasn't gonna have a heal, but she was gonna have the damage control that cruisers have, something like that. But of course, people got up in arms without the heal about the battleship that doesn't have a heal, etc. Yada yada yada. But anyways, we're taking a look at the ship on fault line. We're top tier. I am joined with Murakamo and the Scharnhorst. And as you can see, there are 3 destroyers on the enemy team, a couple light cruisers and 1 heavy cruiser, at least 1 tier 7, and a Lion and 2 Gneisenau. Now, Murakamo's in the Scharnhorst, and we're both just, playing some mid-tier and having some fun. And the KGV, I guess, major difference between the Duke of York. I'm gonna say the KGV a lot during this replay, so do forgive me. The Duke of York is very similar, like I said. The only major difference is the fact that she has a hydro. Now, she does have much smaller caliber shells, which does mean against other battleships she does struggle. She won't get those citadels, as obviously is very common throughout the British battleship line. And in fact, she is the only battleship or ship I have with this frost camo. This frost camo is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love it. So, one of those few ships I actually managed to get the frost camo for. So as you can see, we are detected and it is more than likely a enemy destroyer. Now, one good thing about the Duke of York over any of the British battleship line, as we've just lost our Fubuki to torpedoes from Volsky. Yeah, it's going to be one of these battles where our destroyers are going to up and die. Anyways, the Duke of York does have hydro. That's what I'm really trying to get at. Now, the range on the hydro is not that great. It's fairly short. I believe it's only 4.2 kilometers. I don't think I can check it here, but I believe it's about 4.2. I think my post self will alert me to this. But as you can obviously see, we are still spotted by a enemy DD and currently being targeted by a multitude of ships, and lo and behold, there are those torpedoes, and that looks like that's the Shinonome. And there we have just lost our Mutsuki. We have just lost 2 of our 3 destroyers. And, well, we know the Shinonome is around, and that's not a ship I really want to see. Now, our team is pushing quite heavily on the eastern front. We have a few ships on the western front. And if those destroyers are controlling the mid, more than likely they might try something aggressive. We'll see. Now, I agree, and I'm not a big fan battleships firing HE, but with the British battleship, it's kind of the bread and butter. It's kind of what they're good at. Normally I would say firing AP is far superior, and I even remember one instance of a battle where this player, I'm assuming was not from the North American server, pretty much asked whether or not it was common for battleships to fire a HE on this server, and we call it the British Battleship Syndrome. And it was, of course, a Fuso firing HE at a Nelson. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of firing HE, but yes, I'm well aware I'm in a Duke of York firing HE. take it as it is, but that is the nice thing about the British battleship, is that their HE is their bread and butter. So as you can see, the Shinonome is still harassing our center, and he was last spotted heading towards our cap. And all we have over there is a Dallas. Now Dallas is essentially a tier 6 Cleveland, and it's more than capable with dealing with destroyers. However, there are going to be at least a couple destroyers pushing into our cap, and I think it's much better to at least try to assist it. Granted, a battleship is definitely not a ship you want to try to protect a cap. And once again, there we go. It looks like it is finally being capped, and that is Povoski. Povoski doesn't really have long-range torpedoes. I believe he was at least hoping that I would actually run into it, and actually we do get a good hit on that. It looks like we did get a fire and did rep it almost instantaneously, and there was his torpedoes up for a second. But we do have to be careful. Now, had I been running premium consumable, I would have had at least had the hydro available for us, but unfortunately I did not have that, and at least the HE on the ship's fairly decent, and actually get a good hit there, do cause 2 fires, and he did use his damage control the first time, and those fires are going to stick. Now, no, the Povoski is not the only destroyer within this cap. That's for certain. Now, while all this is happening, Murakamo is actually having a very insane battle against Gneisenau. So while this is all happening, while I'm currently heading back towards base, we're here witnessing Murakamo's battle with the enemy Gneisenau. And as I did mention, there is a lot in the way of battleships firing a HE, and let's see how Murakamo goes about dealing with this enemy Gneisenau. So secondaries are opening up against this enemy Gneisenau, and as you can see, for the most part, Murakamo does stick with a AP. Even against this broadside, you can still hit the superstructure and you can still do a significant amount of damage, and Murakamo is currently just relying on his secondaries to deal a fairly substantial amount of damage, and he does line up his torpedoes on this enemy Gneisenau. Is well aware that the Gneisenau can torp him, and probably should get moving, especially right now. This is probably where the Gneisenau is probably going to be dropping torps, so Murakamo is going to go ahead and start getting moving. But as soon as that Gneisenau opened up, he does deal a fair chunk of damage. Unfortunately, does miss the torpedo drops on the enemy Gneisenau and actually gets hit. It does look like the Gneisenau does decide to switch over to AP, but the Gneisenau is obviously in a much worse state than Murakamo is at the moment. The Scharnhorst is a great little battle cruiser. I've had my issues with her. If anyone's been on my channel long enough is well aware, I've had my issues with the Scharnhorst, with the fact of the dispersion at times. But still, she's a fun battleship. I would say she's probably one of the better and more entertaining ships you can definitely get. But this Gneisenau is low on health. Let's see if Murakamo can in fact get this kill. This Gneisenau is running away for his life, and hopefully here in a moment he should get the final killing blow. Oh, look at that, 872 points of health. One last salvo should be able to finish off this enemy Gneisenau. While the Shinonome finally shows up. Now that's one destroyer I do have to worry about. It has 3 triple launchers of, I believe they're 8 kilometers. Might be a little bit wrong, it's been a little bit of time since I played the Shinonome. And there they are. Now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to just eat one, but we have the heal and the health pool, and we actually managed to dodge them. We dodged all three? Nope, nope. I think I got a little too focused on that, but we do get hit by a torpedo to use our damage comm, but this Shinonome is pretty much FOL, or SOL, technically is the right acronym. But the Shinonome is going to go down one way or another. He is burning, doesn't have his damage control, and our shells are just about up. And there we go. Nice. Took out 2 of the enemy destroyers. That is kill number 2. And the enemy team, I mean, is doing a really good job. They were doing a really good job as far as pushing. Granted, they did kind of separate. As you can see, most of our ships are kind of grouped up together. And right now, we're actually going to start pushing the cap. Now, the KGV, I've always kind of liked the gun setup. I've always kind of liked this whole 4 turrets, and, or sorry, 4 guns and 1 turret. Now, the dispersion's not the greatest. I've noticed when I was taking the Duke of York. It's battleship dispersion. I mean, it's nothing overly impressive, but it always seemed a bit wonky at times. But if anything, the HE is always very nice. The AP is viable. Don't just assume just because I say the HE is fantastic that you shouldn't use AP. The AP is fairly decent. Now, we know there was a Mutsuki out west. More than likely that Mutsuki has come back around, so I do pop the Hydro just in case he does decide to try to go after us. Because it is a Mutsuki, its bread and butter is obviously, in fact, the torpedoes, and lo and behold, there's a Mutsuki. Hydro is up, so we can at least spot torpedoes, and lo and behold, there are those torpedoes. I did not like the Mutsuki when I had her. Let's see if we can actually get a good hit. We only got 1. And I think we're gonna unfortunately eat a torp. It is alright. Does knock out our engine. And the Mutsuki is now dead, because he unfortunately decided to run into a Indianapolis. Now, I did want to show off the Duke of York because I, never really actually played the Duke of York besides, obviously, during this battle. Now, it's not the only reason why I wanted to show off this replay. I actually had a secondary reason, and that is actually Murakamo, who is going to show off his battleship skills and me a total badass. So, at the moment, if we take a look at the score, Murakamo's sitting at 3 kills. He's two away from a Kraken. And there are 2 ships left on the enemy team, which does mean he has a possibility of getting a Kraken. Now, these are battleships and not cruisers. And battleships obviously mean they are a little bit more difficult to actually get the killing blow. Now, I said I would help Murakamo out with getting a Kraken. I won't try to steal a kill. Now, as we switch back to Murakamo's perspective, he is currently facing off against the Texas and the Gneisenau, and as I did kind of point out, I am going to try to help out Murakamo get a Kraken. These are the last 2 enemy ships on the team, and any moment now he should be able to get the kill. Now, Murakamo does a really good job as far as dealing with his enemy Gneisenau. Enemy Gneisenau does have torpedoes, and he does have to be extremely careful on any possible torpedoes that are being shot. As you can see, Gneisenau did drop torpedoes. Looks like the Gneisenau is switching sides to get the other side off. His main focus is going to be the Texas. One good hit should be the kill, and he does slow up just to throw off those torpedoes. Does take one, but this Gneiss now is going to go down right there. Kraken Unleash and double strike. So as you can see, earned a victory, but that's not really why I wanted to post this picture. Yes, Duke of York, very similar to the KGV in a lot of ways. But the real reason why I wanted to show off this video was the fact of Murakamo's double strike and Kraken, especially there at the very end. Pretty fantastic play on his part. Managed to get both the enemy Gneiss now and the Texas within the allotted time for the double strike. And like I said, he did a fantastic job. Even at the end, I did offer to help, not to go for the kill, and allow him to get the Kraken. And he did a fantastic job all the same. So anyway, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.